Good evening, Gabriel. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to sit down with me and talk about all things finance. I'm really excited for this video with you. I know it's been a long time coming for both of us. So before we begin, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you do for a living?
Perfect. Thank you for having me here. I know it's been a lot of back and forth, but we're finally here. So thank you for that. So I'm Gabriel Montesino, a financial representative, and my main focus is just to help individuals in three areas. Number one, financial literacy. What is finance? What does that mean? Then your finances from a defensive perspective, and then whatever we have left over to play with, your finances from an offensive perspective. Kind of in a nutshell, it goes into more detail, but that's exactly what I do.
I'm glad that you mentioned financial literacy. I think that is such an important topic that you and I are both trying to have other people realize. So today's video, let's talk about budgeting. Why is it important to budget?
Yes, budget for me, that's where everything begins. It's like if you're going somewhere and you don't put the address where you're at, even though now technology knows where you're at, how you know where you're gonna go, how long it's gonna take, and what are some of those hurdles that are gonna come in between. So for me, budgeting is number one, because from that standpoint, then you could plan towards your goals, your dreams. You have that peace of mind. I know exactly how much is coming in. I know how much is going out. Now I could work on retirement, emergency, shopping. You also have to spend money, but how much? So I think when you start off with the budget is the most important thing because you have that base. And then from that base, we could plan accordingly for the rest of the goals and ambitions you want to accomplish.
So I agree. Budgeting is definitely the cornerstone of anyone's financial journey because you can't set goals unless you know what you're working with, right? And from your professional perspective, what do you think are some common pitfalls around budgeting, and how can someone that's just getting started avoid those?
Great question. And the first thing is getting to it. I'm going to do it next month. I'm going to do it next month. I'm going to do it next month. And then if you're in a relationship, it's even worse because now it's two people trying to do it next month, trying to do it next month. And they have so much going on both sides that it's even harder to get to it. So the first thing I'll say is sit down. If you're by yourself, pick a day, send yourself the invite, lock it in, and just do it.
Mhm.
If you are in a relationship or have a roommate or you want to do it with someone else, get on the same page, pick a day and time, and do it. Because for me, my personal opinion, after your health, this is number two.
Mhm.
Because this dictates everything. You want to
Absolutely.
travel, you want to launch a business, you hate your job, you want to quit, you having kids, you want to plan your retirement, whatever it is, this sets everything up.
Mhm.
So it's very important. So the number one thing is make sure you lock in a day and time and do it. If you still having problems with that, reach out to us. We will make sure we stay on top of you and we get to it because it's very important.
Absolutely. And, I see a ton of people who have been putting off their budgets for a long time just because they're overwhelmed with the idea of having to set their budget. And oftentimes when I sit down with them, I say, these are the benefits that can come from it. And I want to hear what you think as well in regards to what a strong budget can do for you and why that's important. Can you dive a little deeper into that?
Definitely. And sometimes I always say, look, whatever is that your favorite drink or whatever that is, make it an event.
Mhm.
Like, hey, I'm doing my budget Saturday, 5 to
Absolutely.
7. My phone is on silent. I got my favorite champagne, my favorite wine,
Mhm.
like my favorite outfit on. Like, oh man, this is gonna be amazing. Just
Mhm.
whatever you have to do to get it done. Um, so when you get it done, back to the main three things that I focus on, financial literacy. So what does the budget do? Number one, you know where you stand financially in one page.
Mhm.
That's like going to the doctor, getting a physical, and receiving all your results just in one page. You know exactly where you stand. To me, that's like just the core of everything. Know where you're at. So
Mhm.
that's the first thing. You'll know if you're spending more money on certain things than others. You could compare. Have some clients. I'm spending $700 in Uber, and I say, if you put $700 in this vehicle, in 15 years you have this much. They're like, what? I'm walking.
Mhm.
So I'm like, we can't do anything without it.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Financial literacy, you'll know where you're at, what you have coming in and out. Another set of eyes always helps because maybe some expenses you have, you think they're normal and they're fine to spend 4 grand eating out a month. That's kind of normal, right? We sit together. No, that's way above the national average. And
Mhm.
that's way above the person in your income bracket. So you want to do that because you want to make sure to know where you're at. And then from there, the doors and the gates open up to everything else, which the second thing would be now that we did that and we know, now let's protect what we have built.
Mhm.
If you don't go to work, if you can't go to work because you got hurt or sick, now where's the money coming in? We got to put those defensive products in place. If you pass away, what happens? Is everything all set? Oh, it is. Based on my budget, I am all set. Or, oh, wait, I'm not all set. And then long-term care planning. We're living more than ever, but not healthy.
Mhm.
And 7 out of 10 of us are going to need some kind of help after 60. So is that taken care of? No. So what happens? And then after that, the fun begins. Okay, I want to go travel to Italy. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want that $20,000 purse. I want the new Rolex. I need a new car. I want a rental property that I could Airbnb in and also go to that location when I feel like it because I love it.
Mhm.
Now that's where the fun begins. You get to put X amount of dollars toward those things, which at the end of the day is going to make you happier, more fulfilling. You're actually living with peace of mind because one, you know your base. From a defensive perspective, you're taken care of no matter what happens. You are all set. To
Mhm.
be able to say that, that's insane. And there's a small percentage of Americans that could say that. In other countries, it's worse. So to have that peace of mind is priceless. And then for you to say, oh, retirement, yes, I'm gonna have 9 different incomes coming in for sure whenever I decide not to go to an office again to work.
Mhm.
Like to me, that's everything because then you have the flexibility to live and do other stuff that you want. Um, so budgeting is really important when you see it from a macro perspective, and then you could dive into specific areas.
I 100% agree. And I think we could talk about this for many more videos. So I think you and I are going to have to come up with some more topics to discuss. But as we close out of this video, do you have any general advice or tips for someone watching it?
Yes. I always go back and I always try to put myself on other people's shoes. So if it was my first time, I just got to check, what do I do with this?
Mhm.
Like, what do? You just got paid. You just got money, your first job. Number one thing I'll say is do not listen to your friend that just Googled some finance tips and in 2 minutes he's a genius about finance. Don't. You have to listen to individuals that have what you want. It's
Absolutely.
so simple. So from a financial perspective, if you do have that family member or friend that is doing well financially, yes, talk to them and listen to them, but don't always settle for one option. Let's talk to a couple of individuals. I interviewed 33 financial advisors before I got mine 7 years ago.
Wow.
33. But after I met with that individual, I left there with such a peace of mind that is priceless. Well, it's not priceless. It took time and it cost, but it was worth every penny. So just to keep it simple, that's the first thing. Listen to the person that have what you want, and not just financially, anything. You
Yeah.
want to play basketball, you talk to Michael Jordan. Not your cousin that never played. You love him, he's your cousin, he's a great chef, but not playing basketball, and it's okay. Not everyone is perfect at everything. So do your homework and sit down and go with someone you trust and make sure you educate yourself on what you need to know and put your plan in place.
Gabriel, if someone wanted to do their homework and make you one of their 33 advisors that they interview and hopefully land on, how can they contact you? What platforms, what mediums, where can they find you?
So that's one of the beauty of nowadays. You're able to define anyone you want anywhere. So my phone number is 786-753-3005. If I don't answer, we'll get back to you within 24 hours. I'm in every social media. My name is The Financial Diplomat. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere. So I'm here, I'm available. Thank you again, Amelia, and looking forward to doing more of this and helping as many people as we can.
Gabriel, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to our next video.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a great evening yourself.